Hey, what's going on, guys? So I'm going to be doing something pretty freaking cool to this car. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a while now, and not a lot of people do them to elements, or at least I haven't seen many of them done to an element. So in today's video, I'm going to be installing this 14-inch screen. It's a flip down screen, and I'm going to be putting it right where that light is. I'm not too sure how I'm going to do that yet. I know I have to bring down the whole headliner and everything, but I did see a few videos online and read a few forums, so I kind of get an idea of what I have to do. So yeah, let's dive into this. Alright, so this is where we're at. I took both 8 pillars off. I took the handle off, the center cubbies off, both the visors and the dome light. And then I took this cover and this cover off. Now I just have the C pillars to take off, but I'm gonna try to just see if I can lower this front half here, and maybe I can get away without having to take the whole headliner out. Alright, so I tried to bring the headliner down, try to get away with just lowering the front and not the rear, but it's looking like I'm gonna have to move the C pillars, the handles, take all that off, and take the whole thing off. I think that'd be just the easiest route, because I don't want to bend the headliner, but I also kind of need more space to work in that area. So yeah, I'm gonna take the rest of the stuff off and take the headliner out. Alright, so I got the headliner out. It was not easy. Definitely got bent up a lot, but it's okay. It's pretty crazy seeing all this. I've never seen the frame of an element. Pretty cool. Anyways, so right here is where I want to mount the screen. Either use those two mounting screws and hope that that holds it, or try to figure something out. So what I pretty much did was I made a template out of blue painter's tape, and I attached it to the frame. Got something, for me I got a hole punch, but I poked out all of the holes for the screws to go in. Transferred that over to this template, got a Sharpie, marked it all down. I'm just gonna drill these holes out. And then after, I'm gonna test fit it, make sure it looks good, make sure it's actually secured. And if it is, then we'll keep going. I just want to show you guys real quick what I ended up doing with the mounting plate. So originally I was going to use these two threaded holes that went to the dome light that was here, and I feel like you could get away with just using these, but I did see there were two holes here and here. So like this cable was here, this is the wire for the light. And then there was a piece of tape over this right here, and I took the tape off, and there was a hole right there, just like these. So I went ahead and put riv nuts on here, and then on this hole. They're M5 by 0.8 is the size of all of these. And the holes that were already there were like the perfect size for the riv nuts, so I didn't have to drill anything. So now I got 1, 2, 3, and 4 bolts holding the mounting plate on. So I'm doing the wiring now for this. These are the main 3 wires, ground, power, and then constant power. When I saw these 3 wires, I immediately thought, let me just splice this into the radio, because the radio is the only other that I can think of that has the yellow and the red. And well, the ground, I mean, I can pretty much ground this to the frame of the car. I don't think I have to run a whole ground from the radio to this. So I'm gonna try to just ground this to the frame, but mostly the constant power and then just the regular power, I can hook these up to or splice them from the harness on the radio. So what I ended up doing is exactly that. I took my radio off, and then I spliced. I had these 2 wires, got about like 10 feet of them. I'm not too sure if I'm gonna need 10 feet, but I got 10 feet. And I'm not gonna show in there, but I spliced them into the harness that goes to the radio. So I have the yellow going to yellow, the red going to the red, and now what I'm gonna try to do is fish these 2 wires through the back of the dash, up the pillar, through here, and then somewhere leading to this area. to where the screen's gonna be. So here's what I've done so far. I had the wires spliced to the radio, ran the wires behind the glove box up to the A-pillar, and then I started zip tying them to the little harness that's on the side here. And then I brought it up, zip tied. I also put little strips of tape like every few inches, just so the two wires stick together. And zip tied all the way up to right here until I got to the middle where the screen's gonna be. So the amount of wire that I used was 10 feet, and I guess it comes right up to the middle. So if you are gonna try this, 10 feet of wire is what you will need. I ended up going with 16 gauge for the wire, so 10 feet of 16 gauge. And then the ground, I'm gonna try to use one of these holes when mounting the bracket and use that as the ground. But yeah, so this is all done. That looks pretty good to me. I don't think that's gonna go anywhere. Right now, I'm gonna try to install the screen and kind of test everything out. So I'm gonna put the mounting bracket on, put the screen on, and then just to test it out, I'm gonna hook up the wires to the screen, see if it works, see if it powers on. So I wanted to show you guys the bolts that I'm using to secure the mounting bracket to the frame. So these are the Phillips heads, M5 by 0.8, I think it is. They're pretty long. You don't have to get them this long. This is just stuff I had laying around. And the washers too. The washers I'm kind of just using to secure it better. If you look up here, I got all the washers in place, all the bolts in place. This is with everything fully secured. That's on there. That's not going anywhere. I'm just testing this out. I have it mounted up here. I have all the wires hooked up. I got the yellow hooked up to the yellow. I got the red hooked up to the red. Got the ground to the frame with this bolt. If the radio turns on, then this should turn on too. So real quick, let me turn on the car. Hey, look at that. Hell yeah. Look at that. Alright. Says photo, music. So I'm not gonna worry about this now. I just wanted to see if it turns on and it works. I'm gonna mess with all that later, but it turns on. You can see the light changes color. That's pretty cool. Alright, so the screen works, radio works, all the wires work. I'll figure out what these RCA cables do later on. So now that I know that the screen works, I'm just gonna bundle up the wiring, cut this up, make it nice and neat, and then we're gonna take the screen off, put the headliner on, put everything back together, put the screen back on, and see how it is in all its glory.